Hello students, welcome back to the next session of software engineering. Today we shall be covering the last topic under chapter 3 in unit number 4, which is related to continuous monitoring using Nagios. So in this session we will be understanding what do you mean by continuous monitoring, why is it important, and what is the importance of the Nagios tool along with its architecture. So let's start with understanding what do we mean by continuous monitoring. So continuous monitoring is basically a process of checking whether the system, the services, the tools that are related to our application are actually working properly or not. So why we have to do all of this? So that the first thing is to check the performance of the system. Okay, so if you want to get efficient results related to the application, that your system has to perform very well. So that is the reason you have to monitor your system. The second one is to find or to check for the errors and automatically give the report of that particular errors. For that also you have to monitor your particular system. The third point is alerting the team, whoever is responsible related to that application, about the errors that your system is giving. Okay, and the last one is to improve the security, speed and the performance of the system. So because of all these reasons, continuous monitoring or monitoring a particular system along with its services and servers is very important. Now let's talk about the next concept, where why do you think is this continuous monitoring is very important to us? Because of three main reasons. The first reason you have is it catches problems at the earlier level. So by continuously monitoring your particular system, you will be able to identify the bugs in the early stage only. Okay, and you can rectify it very quickly, then so that you are avoiding the system to crash. Okay, so if we identify the bugs in the earlier stage only, we will be able to avoid the system to crash in the later level. The next important point is adapt quickly. So say suppose your software has been updated. So whenever you update your particular software, we will get n number of issues. So by continuously monitoring your system, you will be able to identify these issues so that you can adapt to the changes that you have made in your software. The third point you have is improve over time. So by keeping track of all these logs, okay, by monitoring, by keeping track of all these logs, you will be able to make your software work faster and user friendly also. So because of these three reasons, you can say that continuous monitoring is very important to us. Right now let's look into the various tools that we have under continuous monitoring. So in DevOps, you have so many different types of monitoring tools available. Let's talk about the first one, which is called as log management tools. So log management tools basically talks about what are the different types of errors that have occurred in our system. So they keep track of all the errors over the time that have occurred. So one example of this is your ELK stack. The next type of tool that you have is performance monitoring tool. So this is the one who will be monitoring the performance of your software. That means how quickly your software is running, how quickly it is giving response to the user. So all that is kept track by tools like this performance tools, and you have one example is New Relic here. The third type of tool you have is security tools, whose main motto is to protect the system from various threats. So you can take your antivirus softwares, or you can take something called as Splunk here. The next one you have is infrastructure monitoring. Now this is the one who is responsible to keep an eye on the servers, the networks, the system, all of this inside our computer. Okay, and the example is your Nagios. The next one you have is user monitoring. So this is the one who is responsible to keep track of how the user is behaving with my particular system. Okay, when he is interacting with my particular system, what are the issues that are being faced? So keeping track of all of this is done under user monitoring. The last one you have is application monitoring, who is responsible to fix whatever errors we get in the code that we have written related to our application. So the example you can take is your app dynamics. So these are the various continuous monitoring tools that are available in the market. There are much more, but these are more famous when compared to the other. So among all this, we will be concentrating on the infrastructure monitoring tool, which is called as the Nagios. Now let's talk about What do we mean by Nagios? So Nagios is basically said to be a infrastructure monitoring tool, or it is also called as continuous monitoring tool. So what it does? It basically monitors the systems, the services, the networks, the applications which are running together, okay, for a particular application. So not only that, if it finds any particular bugs related in all of this, it will immediately alert the tester or the developer who is responsible. Okay. Now there are basically two types of Nagios applications that are in the market. The first one you have is Nagios Core. The second one is Nagios 11. Nagios Core is a free version, anybody can download, okay, but it provides very basic features, right? Whereas if you want to go for advanced features of Nagios, if you want to have more information, or you want to keep track of lot of things inside your system, then you have to go for Nagios 11, which is a paid version having advanced features and support. Okay. So in our example, in our lab example, we have worked with Nagios Core, which was the basic free version, right? Now, what exactly does your Nagios do inside your system? So it keeps track of three things. The first thing is it continuously checks the health of your particular system. Okay, it keeps track of the resources, the services, the ports, everything. It keeps track of everything, and at what stage which application is using what, and when that application is using so and so service of your particular system, how your system is reacting, how is the performance of it, how is the load balance of it, everything in detail is monitored related to the infrastructure using this particular Nagios. So after that, if it finds any particular error, then it will automatically give an alert to the person who is responsible for this monitoring, and it also helps you fix these problems. So you have an option called as notifications in your Nagios. So whenever an issue or a bug will raise, automatically your Nagios will send a notification to the concerned person. Okay, so this is what your Nagios will do. Now let's talk about the architecture of the Nagios. Okay, Nagios basically consist of three main parts, as you can see here. The first part you have is Nagios server. The second part you have is a remote machine. The third part you have is Nagios web interface. Now what is this Nagios server? This is the main part of your monitoring tool. Okay, so Nagios server has something called as plugins. The plugins are responsible to collect the information related to whatever it is monitoring of this remote machine. So Nagios will be monitoring this remote machine. Your plugins inside the Nagios server will be collecting all the logs related to whatever it is monitoring, and it will be giving to the Nagios server. Now how can I see that what my Nagios is doing inside my system, what all it is monitoring, what are its logs, how can I see it? You will be able to see it with the help of this Nagios web interface. So Nagios web interface will be displaying you what exactly, or what are the various hosts or the systems your Nagios is actually operating on, it is monitoring on. Inside that particular host, what are the things it is monitoring, what is the status of those services, everything in detail will be displayed on this Nagios web interface. So this is all about your Nagios architecture and a very simple introduction to your Nagios. Thank you.